And now, it's Boomer Life, lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
Welcome to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. Thanks for joining us today. A well-thought-out plan for your financial future is an integral part of building the life that you want for yourself and for your family. On Boomer Life today, we're talking about your financial future with JimDoyle. Jim is a senior financial consultant with Investors Group Financial Services, Inc. So on today's show, our resident expert will help address common financial planning concerns that will help put you on the right track for a very prosperous 2016. Whether we have high incomes or more modest means, the more stressful components of financial planning can be attributed to feeling out of control about your finances. These concerns can be related to market fluctuations that affect investment returns. Of course, this includes our low interest rate environment, extending to living beyond one's means and more, uncertainty about cash flow, and encountering unforeseen risks or issues such as health problems or job loss. It's a bit of a mouthful to start the show, Jim, but first of all, I just want to thank you for being here. Thanks for joining us today. And let's start off by pulling off the Band-Aid, so to speak. Jim, why do you think more people don't reach out for help from a financial planner?
I think there's a lot of people that have financial planning needs who are experiencing financial stress in their lives, but these needs, they're not painful enough for them to seek out financial planning help yet.
Yet. That's the key. Financial stress. That's probably on a lot of people's minds right now, especially as we wrap up the holiday season. So let's bring it back to basics and start by addressing the real issue.
You know, it's not uncommon that we stress over our finances, whether it's about debt or a cash flow is going to come from making mortgage payments, managing outside bills, divorce, unexpected issues like looking after the family, or matters outside of our control like our parents' health needs or even our own health issues.
Kind of like having to pay off those January credit card bills, not the happiest place to be.
The problem with financial stress is that it tends to be an ongoing and chronic type of stress. And these stresses lead some people to make emotional or impulsive decisions about money, creating additional stress and risk. And while having more money might help to alleviate these issues, how you manage that money and plan for the future has a much greater potential for reducing stress. One way to reduce stress and anxiety is to establish basic ground rules and commit to planning regularly with your financial planner.
Chronic stress tends to be the most serious and destructive, and usually means that the effects of any other subsequent stress, like financial stress, will be exaggerated even further.
On the surface, financial stress might seem like the result of not having enough money and something that could be lessened by coming up with more. But that's not necessarily the case. In fact, the goal of being financially successful tends to increase the stress, making financial planning a stressful, daunting process for some. Many professionals earn unusually large incomes, and often this brings along its own financial stressors. One of the things I've seen in my practice is that many of these same professionals often match their standard of living to their paychecks. They've learned to become great spenders with, well, maybe not so much thought for the future because they anticipate that this good income is going to continue forever. Okay? They're often drawn to these professions because of the lifestyle that it can bring to them or to their family. And unfortunately, this creates a catch-22. They're often far too busy to anticipate what their current or possibly their long-term financial plans might need to look like.
So what can you actually do to fight financial stress and stop it from affecting your quality of life?
I guess one of the obvious options here is to look at the specific causes of your stress, debt, upcoming expenses, or general lack of funds, and to deal with them directly. If you're in debt, then coming up with a budget can often be a very helpful way as you look to get out of debt, whether it's working with a debt management firm or looking at debt consolidation or exploring the viability of working with a financial planner. I think planners can give people that sense of belief in their own ability to succeed. If you don't see a way out of your problem, I doubt you're actually going to seek help because you don't believe that it's fixable.
So what is something that you do in your practice, Jim, to offer a sense of confidence in clients' financial situations?
Wow. First thing, set goals, not resolutions. Money-related New Year's resolutions are often third on the list, but they're only one small problem. And here it is. Less than 10% of New Year's resolutions are actually achieved.
I'll bet you losing weight sits higher than money-related issues. But so why do you think that is? Why are people like that?
I think one of the biggest challenges we often face is when there's a lack of focus or goals are unquantifiable, that's a tough spot to be in. When you add in a specific focus and make a goal measurable, you make your goal much more achievable. And trying to do too many things simultaneously will make it hard to keep your focus.
So how would you approach the subject of cutting expenses? Should every expense be right out on the table?
Absolutely. Everything should be on the table, but some items are a little easier to cut than others.
Like what? Can you actually give us a couple of examples?
Well, you might want to consider looking at some of the following. For instance, car insurance. When was the last time you looked at your coverage to see what you have? For instance, your collision deductible. Could it be increased? Now, you might not save a lot of money here, but why pay more than you need to? Another one is your cell phone bill. There's many non-contractual options available to help you save money. I remember when I got my last cell phone, it included a number of free options that you had to pay for later, and I forgot that I had them. Of course, eventually they got added to my bill before I caught up with that. Cable, that's another one. Cable and the internet, does a bundle option make sense?
These are all great examples. So what do you say to the people who say that they just don't think they can cut any expenses or they just don't know where to start?
I think it comes down to people having a little bit of faith in themselves. I believe everybody can do a little bit to help drive their financial situation to a better spot. I like to remind people that you don't need to accomplish all of your goals right at once. If I can help people make choices around structuring their financial decisions in a way that allows them to have small accomplishments while learning new skills, I think that's a big win.
I do too, and I can actually speak from experience here because the very first time that I sat down with a planner from the Investors Group, I was only making $10 an hour at the time. And by nickel and diming every single expense that I had, that planner actually helped me curb my expenses and made me able to afford a holiday in Palm Springs. So it's a long time ago, but small steps can yield big results. If you look at where your money is going and the value you receive from every single expense, you actually have a chance to do something about it.
What a great story. It may seem odd to make financial goals during the holiday season. Truth is, the holidays are not a surprise, so why should it ruin your finances every year? If your goal is to be more purposeful about your spending, there's no better time than the present. And if you're inclined to put things off to deal with it later, this can be a scary cycle because later never happens.
So the advice that I'm hearing, don't let time slide by. Instead, use it to set measurable goals that will help you be purposely frugal. This will help you put your money to use throughout the year ahead. Does that sound good?
I'd like to believe that most of us know on some level some of the things that we need to do in order to improve our financial picture. Sometimes they just need a helping hand to see it and to make sense of their options.
So to me, it sounds like your job isn't really to tell people what to do. It's actually to help them make more informed choices.
Joanne, if I can help cut down on the industry jargon and explain the various choices clearly, I can help people set achievable goals and timelines. One of the best parts of this job is helping people engage with the financial planning process, helping someone realize their eureka moments. That's priceless.
It's really clear, Jim, that it's the consistent daily efforts which lead to financial success and an understanding that financial planning helps reduce financial stress.
Let me tell you a story about a couple I helped recently. A professional couple in their 50s came to see me. Let's call them Brian and Kelly. And they were concerned about having enough money to retire. They were experiencing many of the financial stresses that we mentioned earlier. Brian had health concerns for years and never expected that he'd reach the point where he needed to go on disability until he reached the typical retirement age. And one of the biggest obstacles Brian and Kelly faced was deciding to overcome their early reluctance to explore their financial planning options and to take action. They met with me to take a look at creating a comprehensive written financial plan, addressing their net worth, analyzing their cash flow, and of course they had differing views on retirement, as well as their estate planning wishes. The couple's single largest asset was Brian's interest in the family business, which he'd had for almost 40 years. Now, market volatility combined with Brian's limited engagement in the ongoing business had Brian and Kelly worried that the value of their assets might be less than certain. So after an initial evaluation, we saw that Brian and Kelly had a great chance of attaining their dream lifestyle in retirement if they could sell Brian's interest in the family business for good value today, or if interim management could be brought in to run the business until that optimum value could be obtained. Truth is, they never did any of the necessary planning beforehand because they never thought this day would ever come. We ended up bringing in a trusted law firm to help work out the terms of the buyout. And going into the sale, the couple knew their financial needs, which helped them working with their legal counsel and advisors to negotiate the terms of the sale.
Well, their situation sounds quite complicated.
Many boomers are facing complex financial planning issues.
Good point. Having a plan to hit your goals is so important. You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. Today, we're speaking with JimDoyle, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group. To learn how JimDoyle helps financially comfortable Canadians, I would like to encourage you to give him a phone call, 604-682-5431. And as we head into a brand new year and you're not where you want to be financially, it's another reason to give Jim a call, 604-682-5431. Jim's about to offer up some insider insights about the impact of overconfidence on our investments. That's coming up next on Boomer Life on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.